Okay, so sorry for that. There was a technical problem. Our signal was lost. So anyway, let's continue on. So I was showing you this slide earlier where you would see a panel board installed very close to a gasoline dispensing unit. So this is a very clear violation of the code. And add to this is not only there's a panel board above it, but there's also this outlet that is installed just below the panel board, which is of course is also a violation of the code. No? So now you see that many of our countrymen are still lacking in the basic necessities for a real foolproof installation, devoid of unsafe installation or practices. So this was installed elsewhere in Metro Manila some years ago. Okay, so now we proceed. The spread of fire is can be caused by either a convection, by radiation, or by conduction. And when you say convection, that means that the fire could spread by the direct expansion of the fire, and by radiation means it's passed through the air, and by conduction means that fire could be transferred through materials. So there's the importance, therefore, of a firewall, no? So as not to convey heat to an adjoining structure. Okay, so therefore this one would play a very important role in the prevention of fire. The provision of a code compliant firewall. So here is a schematic credit to the owner of this. No? Okay, so now we proceed to prevention, which is fire detection and alarm system. This is the fastest way to alarm the people, no, staying in a building. As I was telling, the sprinkler system can work to stop the spread of fire, but it is the fire detection and alarm system that will work to save the people in a building. Okay, so my belief, it is not the sprinkler that really can protect the people, but it is the FDAS primarily that protects the people. Okay, so why is the FDAS required? Of course, in order to save lives, no? To detect fire in areas, notify building occupants to take evasive action to escape the dangers of the hostile fire, to summon organized assistance, to initiate or assist in fire control activities, initiate automatic fire control suppression systems, and to sound an alarm, and supervise the fire control and suppression system to assure operational status, and maintain, initiate auxiliary functions involving environmental, utility, and process control. So these are the functions of a fire detection and alarm system. Okay, here is a schematic showing us the fire detection and alarm system, or FDAS. So the original FDAS just simply include this portion, no? So you have the smoke detectors, the heat detectors, and the manual pull stations, no? And you have a fire alarm control panel on FACP. It is a logic device which receives the signal from the detectors, and this FACP, of fire alarm control panel or control device, will send instructions to your audiovisual devices like sirens, hotels, buzzers, lights, and so on and so forth, in order to create the noise for people inside the building to be able to act immediately and avoid the possibility of being suffocated or could die, no? So these are the input devices on the left side, and in the middle is the control panel, and in the right side is the output devices. Now it is my proposal to make it more complete by providing this rectangle here, which is, I include here hydrogen sulfide, H2S, then CO is carbon monoxide, then here is LPG gas, and here is CH4 or methane or CH4, no? And these are gas sensors and detectors, and they should input the detection of these gases to your control panel or a spatial control panel, so that they will actuate alarms, also spatial alarms, and actuate or operate extraction fans of smoke and carbon monoxide, as well as the pressurization fans of the escape road, so the stairwell. And here below is a smartwatch. Now with if you're using an addressable type, a computer-based fire alarm control panel, it is possible to send signals to cell phones which can vibrate, or watches, smart watches that can vibrate. So in other words, there is a dimension being added here. The standard today is just two alarms. One is audio, that means hearing, and the second is visual. As a matter of fact, in a fire or in a person, we have the 5 senses, no? So we have the sense of hearing, which the siren will work for it, no? And then the sense of seeing, so a rotating beacon or an LED bulb will work for it. Of course, if you are inside the burning room, you would be able to smell the smoke, the presence of fire. So there are already 3 senses, no? Sense of smell, sense of seeing, and the sense of seeing, no? So there are still 2 remaining senses that God gave us that has not been put into the design of the FDAS, and that is what? The sense of feeling and the sense of tasting. The sense of feeling can be used for this smartwatch or for smartphones that can operate to vibrate. But the problem with the smartphones is we do not hold it while we are asleep. So it might be not possible to really wake up people with this vibration. So the better way is to use smartwatches. Now, smartwatches that have SIM cards and programmed to be actuated by a programmable device. Okay, so now with this system, you have the sense of smell, sense of hearing, sense of sight, sense of feeling. Only the sense of taste cannot be put to this, because no way could you utilize this as of today in a design. Okay, so that's the idea of our life and safety suggestion proposal, to make it more complete. Okay, now let's proceed. Criteria to determine the layout of fire detectors. The design, construction, and operational features of all types of detectors shall be in accordance with relevant standards. The number of fire detectors to be installed is governed by the total area protected, type of building construction, the air movement and air velocity, if there's air conditioning, of course, no? And ceiling obstructions. Let's say, for example, you have multiple ceilings, Then, of course, concentration of equipment in area covered. So, if you have very expensive equipment, then there is a need, therefore, to provide for more intense detection in those very spatial rooms that contain this spatial equipment. Like electrical rooms, like computer rooms, like server rooms. Okay? And then, the sensitivity required. Area is divided into zones to be protected. So, say, for example, you have a big building like the mega mall, then that means that you'll be dividing it into several floors, plus dividing it into several areas like dining areas, hallway areas, and so on and so forth. So in a big area, you'll find out that there will be so many zones. In an ordinary building, if it is a 4-story building, most possibly there will be 4 zones, 1 zone per floor. But in a wide building or a long building, chances are you'll be providing more zones. In a high-rise building, say if you have a 17-story building, most possibly you will also have 17 zones. Plus, of course, the roof deck, and maybe if there is a basement, you have to add some more zones into your system. So it will be easy for you to be able to determine where the fire has started. Okay, areas above the false ceiling and below false flooring shall be considered as separate zones. Okay, under ideal conditions of smooth ceiling and average room size, 1 detector is recommended to protect the area. Then, ionization type detectors should be located where the largest combustible gas concentration can be expected. And say for example, it is also important to provide fire gas detectors in this kind of location where you have combustible gases. In the air-conditioned areas, both ionization and nautical type smoke detectors are used. And detectors must always be always installed at the highest point of the building, of the ceiling, and a minimum coverage indicated by manufacturer shall be considered. So like for example, if you have a building like the Araneta Coliseum, you will be providing detectors at the topmost point of the building, plus of course underneath the bleachers, where usually there is also a trap for the air there. And then number of detectors and their location should be so selected that complete coverage is obtained. So sometimes you have to provide some duplication in the number of detectors, no? Although there is this area provided, maximum area like this, no? For a general area application, 1 detector per